Make that big boss less special. It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level. Second level. Second level gaming. Second level.
Hi, my name is Ivy Doomkitty, and welcome to Cosplay 101.
Yay! Introduction!
Hey, right on time. Look at that.
Can I be the DM?
Yes.
I'll be a spy. All right. I'm Captain K Cosplay. I am here based out of Denver, Colorado. Really excited to be here. I like to perform in my cosplays, and that's kind of what I do. You might also know me as Sexy Gandalf.
That's how I know you.
That's how I know you.
That's how everyone knows me. Like, I've been at meetings where I'm like for non-cosplay related things. So I'm like, I'm Carl Breivik, and they're like, who? And I'm like, Sexy Gandalf, and they'll be like, yeah, we at Walmart know this.
That's creepy.
I'm the wifely half of Thousand Faces Cosplay. Husband, aww, our kids are here. Just kidding. They're so much more talented than we can ever own up to. Don't even. But we're based out of St. Louis, and we like to cosplay for charity. So we kind of just started doing this in 2014, and we're just like performers that like to do our thing and get our nerd on, and you guys apparently like it sometimes. So we're all about that, and we're raising money for 10th Life Cat Shelter that is here in St. Louis. 2 of our babies are from there, so come by our booth if you like to. Do you have anything to say?
Ditto. She covered it well. There's nothing else I can say.
And I've been cosplaying for, it'll be 6 years this year. I like to dress up as characters. You know, it's been a lot of fun. This year I brought my sister with me to this convention, and yeah, you know, I definitely feel that cosplay is a way to really embrace yourself and embrace the characters that you love, as well as being able to express yourself artistically, as well as on a personal level, in terms of just really learning to be comfortable in your own skin. So that's just one thing that I always encourage others to do. You know, cosplay characters you love, have fun with it. It doesn't matter if a random person says you can't do it or anything
Screw
like that.
those people.
No, and that's a really good note. That's what I always try and encourage is if you're doing what you love in cosplay, it makes it easier to go crazy before a con, stay up all night.
Oh yeah.
Like if you do that for a character you don't like, then you're gonna follow a cosplay quick enough. Even if it's like, well, this is the popular one, don't do that, because you're gonna get plenty of hot glue burns. You're gonna cut your fingers. You're gonna be up all hours. Do that for the things you love, and everything becomes a labor of love.
And we believe the same philosophy as well. Like, if you're not having fun, why are you doing it in the first place? Are you doing it for others? You should be doing it for yourself. If others benefit, baller. But if you aren't having fun, why spend your time, energy, and love on something that you don't personally benefit from? Like, for us, it's helped me personally. Like, I suffer from anxiety and depression. I'm, you know, a broken human like all of us. And cosplay has really helped me feel like I was put back together. Like, I found a place where I could be safe, as well as express myself creatively. And that's really what it's all about, guys. Just always remember why you started.
Yeah, and as 2 people who started off performing at a Renaissance fair,
What up?
we're idiots. This is a really fun outlet for us. You know, obviously it's been touched on, you know, being able to help deal with anxiety and depression, being able to find confidence in your own skin. And for us, and I know Captain K as well, and a lot of other cosplayers, it's a really fun opportunity for performance for us. And lately it's also become a cool outlet for our obsession in the gym, being able to use a cosplay as motivation while you're in there. Like, I have to be Kratos in a couple months, so I gotta be hitting stuff hard. So one of the things
He sets his goals really unrealistically, guys.
Very unrealistic. So one of the things that I honestly love most about cosplay is that no matter what your other passions are, you can almost always find a way to incorporate that in cosplay. You're a huge history buff? Go do some historical cosplays. That's awesome. You are a, you know, machinist or a welder? I have some prop ideas for you. You love sewing, you love painting, you love, you whatever it may be.
No, I have friends who do programming and the LED setups. One of my favorite costumes I ever saw was a Borg made out of juice bottles and paint.
Seen that one.
Yeah, and then the programming skills they applied to it, you wouldn't know for a second this wasn't metal and gears and wires. It's all, I was like, what's it made of? Because I wanted to know to build it in the future. And he goes, trash. And we laughed. And then he goes, no, seriously, like
Story of
trash.
life,
It's
right.
just trash. I pulled it out of the trash and made this costume.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And actually, that brings up one other point about the upcycling, as I know a lot of cosplayers refer to it, or thanks to one particular cosplayer, night maging. But cosplay can be, as anyone who has cosplayed knows, exceedingly expensive if you let it. Or you can be like some cosplayers I know who focus very much on budget. I know a number of cosplayers who have made some of the most mind-blowing things and never spend over $150 on a single cosplay. And Night Mage has something now like, what, 90 cosplays?
Oh my God, it's
Yeah.
just
Because he knocks
ridiculous.
them out in a day or 3 maximum.
If you're not following Night Mage, get on that immediately. He is an amazing human being, raises money for Make-A-Wish, and he's just an overall great person and really a great inspiration for the cosplay community in general because he really focuses on the positivity. As with any...
No affiliation.
No affiliation. He's not paying me, but if he'd like to inquire.
Checks in the mail.
Branding. But seriously, he's a great inspiration, especially for those of us who like to do things on a budget. And you think, there's no way that I can put this together. There is a way. You just got to tinker around for a little bit. Just play with it. He puts movies on, enjoys the process. Get down how you like to get down, and always like I think it bears saying that if you want to cosplay someone, don't let other people discourage you from doing that. A lot of people try to discourage others from buying their costumes. If you aren't a seamstress, don't feel shamed for needing to buy a cosplay.
I commissioned part of my Kratos from those two sitting up there, so I have no shame in that.
If you want to do something, do the thing. Don't listen to what all the other haters are going to say because ultimately you're living your life. Make it count.
Accessibility becomes a big thing. Like I wore a costume that this one on purpose for this panel is majority thrift store alteration. Yes. And that's one of the big things I like to push, especially when you're getting into cosplay. I lived out of thrift stores before I was even cosplaying, but it made it very easy to cosplay. One of my favorite stories is I was at a thrift store and I saw red leather motorcycle pants. Yeah. They're about $15, pricey for a thrift store.
Yeah, wow.
Real up there. But I bought them. I was like, I might need this someday. Sure enough, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 comes out 2 years later, or Guardians of the Galaxy comes out 2 years later, and I went, I have a costume. Yes. And so that's the thing. You never know what you're going to find, and that's one of those things where you start off just putting stuff together, but very quickly it becomes practice for your skills. You get to see cheap stuff to tear apart, cheap stuff to alter. It lets you be adventurous without having to invest a whole bunch of money into that adventure.
And remember, like we just said a little while ago, how you want to explore cosplay is entirely up to you. If you want to be someone who makes all of it and hand sews, more power to you. If you want to commission stuff or just buy a completed outfit, more power to you also. All of those are equally cosplay and equally good and equally valid. And never let anyone try to tell you otherwise, because it's the people who try to tell you otherwise that are problematic. Not the people who go and buy a cosplay. It's the people who say you can't do that gatekeep the community.
Yeah.
I can say that's
Loud noises.
True. With myself, I've done all three. I've gone to Goodwill and put stuff together. A lot of my steampunk costumes are all based on stuff that I find at Goodwill. I have costumes that I've commissioned. What I'm wearing right now is actually a commission from Castle
Corsetry.
Oh, it's so good.
They're amazing.
Never seen it in person.
They
That
really
looks
are.
incredible.
And then what I'm wearing tomorrow, my Bison, is a costume that I made. So for me, I like to focus my time, because I don't have a lot of time, I like to focus my time and energy on certain costumes where I know I'm going to have a ton of fun working on and being very hands-on, and the ones that like I really like and I really like to do, but I'm not 100% like going to die if I don't touch it. I'm like, okay, we'll commission this one, or we'll put it together, with found items and things like that. That way I can like kind of divvy out my time and be like, okay, I'm gonna make this one, I'm gonna commission this one, I'll put this one together with stuff I already got. And that way I can kind of maximize what I have. I too love Night Mage. Michael's an amazing human being.
Oh my gosh, right.
I love following his work online and just coming up with all sorts of things. You know, it took him 3 days to do a full RoboCop.
How?
It was stupidly good,
Oh my
too.
gosh,
Yeah.
how though?
And, you know, so there's so many different cosplayers in this community that contribute so much that, you know, if you guys aren't checking them out, look them up, check them out, because they are amazing role models and inspirations to the community. And sometimes a lot of these people don't get the, I don't want to say it's not attention, but the
Recognition?
yes, the recognition that they so absolutely deserve for what they do. You know, so, you know, look them up, see what kind of tips that they offer. But also, I mean, we did talk about the, you know, different avenues of cosplay, right?
A little bit.
So,
But yeah, we touched upon it.
Well, one thing that I wanted to bring up, because you were mentioning the divvying up your time and realizing that you don't have infinite time. And I know a lot of people, and some of them work really well under a deadline. And they say, I'm going to have this cosplayer, God forbid, these 2 cosplays finished by this one convention. And they managed to do that. That's awesome. We don't do that. But on the using your time,
I don't.
good.
The best thing I've
No
done for
deadline.
my
Thank gosh.
anxiety was stop having con deadlines.
Bless.
And it did the
we say, not as we do.
exactly. 'Cause
Yeah.
then it did the best also for the quality of the costume, because there was no part of the costume that was like, I have 4 hours. So yeah, no, I'm on board.
But
Can't-
you were
can't
talking
handle
about,
it.
like, deciding what you want to spend your time on. And like for me, again, my real passions regarding cosplay are performance and fitness. And for me, like again, with that thing that I commissioned Kratos from back there, I made the decision I could either put together possibly a leather harness that would look right, or I could commission it and focus on my physique in the gym that I want for this character. And I made the decision about which mattered most to me. And that's what I think is really important, is you don't have infinite time. If you're able to do all of it, and you want to do all of it, cool, awesome, rock it. But if you decide, you know, I want to be able to focus on this part because this is what I actually enjoy, do the part you enjoy, because that's why we do this. We're adults playing dress up to have fun. So if you're not having fun, you might need to reconsider some things. That's just my opinion.
One, and collaboration then becomes a major component
Amen.
where
Yes.
you're learning constantly. That's my big thing that I try and push with anyone getting into cosplay. Collaborate all the time. Speaking to things you don't enjoy, I got into wig styling. I worked for a costume shop. I was doing it for my job. I got so tired of styling wigs. And so I was around the community and I met John Eberhardt, who does Hair Today, Con Tomorrow on Facebook. He did this piece here. And that's something I could do.
Yeah,
Yeah, good.
I just looked over and I was
Damn.
like,
I didn't know that was a wig.
And that's what he does. And
That's
so,
pretty cool.
but I could do it. I could do it, but I don't have the time and I don't enjoy that part. And if I was making
Yeah.
wigs for 40% of cosplay,
Yeah.
I'd have dropped out.
Right.
So, but through that time, not only do I get wonderful products, I've learned from him because he shares his information. And most cosplayers you meet are ready to share what we've learned to make it easier. And he's the one who taught me that to make a cheap lace front, you get a theatrical beard that is laced, and you sew that into any wig you have. And you have an instant lace front from the cheapest Halloween store wig. And
That's awesome.
That's something I've carried away from that collaboration, from deciding
I'm
to
gonna write
collaborate.
that down, 'cause
It's
I didn't know
yeah, it's a good one. Take the beards, put those in your wigs.
That's
Well,
awesome.
here's a question. Are any of you guys interested in working with armor?
Yeah, get your hands up. Don't
So
even
there's
lie.
different
You
ways
three.
you can, or there's several different ways you can work with armor. You know, you can do EVA, you can do Warbler, you can also sculpt it, mold it, cast it, and do all of that.
Cardboard. Cardboard.
So, okay, cardboard too. Yes, there's a lot of different ways you can do it, and I think for myself, I work with EVA and I also work with Warbler. Warbler is definitely on the more expensive side of things,
Yeah.
and it both have pros and cons. With Warbler, which is it's a thermoplastic that you can heat, and it'll take the shape of different things, but it also in extreme heat it will melt. You will lose all of the work that you put into it, and it will break. My Bowser costume,
which is
Spyro-
amazing, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
and Bowser, Spyro, and my Doctor Doom armor, those are all Warbler. Now the costume that I'm wearing tomorrow is EVA foam, which is also think yoga mats or those foam pads that you can walk on. That's EVA, and what I like about that is that it's very inexpensive, it's bendable, it's flexible, and I can just throw it in my suitcase and not worry about any damage with it. So
shoot, I always worry about the.
I still
I'm
sweat,
so
but not as much.
I'm so paranoid about it. Oh yeah.
So paranoid.
I have it in a bag and I just throw it in my suitcase. All right, cool. Put it on, throw it right back.
See, the ones I
take
never.
care of things away.
You're bold.
I never freak out about Borderlands stuff, because if Borderlands stuff gets damaged, like, cool, that's just more.
Oh, I spilled food on me. Oh, rub it in.
Oh yeah, just rub that.
I mean, you guys will see the armor tomorrow, but you know, like that's something that's really cost effective. You guys can use. You know, EVA craft foam. It's awesome. It has a lot of versatile.
Yeah.
Versatility.
Yeah. And if you're gonna look into either or, if you're gonna go with Warbla, I'd suggest you guys check out Kamui Cosplay. She's phenomenal, amazing woman. She has tutorials on working with Warbla and now EVA foam. And then another one that's awesome with EVA, well,
Steven.
SKS Props.
Yeah.
Where we're at. He's right behind my booth.
Amazing.
Phenomenal. He did
Mind blowing.
Theron Guard. The Theron Guard.
The Theron Guard from Gears is on display there. That's all out of EVA foam. And then also look up Bill Durant.
Still stunned. I can't see it in person. I've seen the picture.
Books on working with
Evil Toad.
EVA foam as well, available in PDF. Oh, Kamui, Kamui. She's based out of Germany. She
They have subtitles.
Ship out the books if you want a hard copy, but then also if you want a PDF file, you can get it that way as well.
And it's like 5 or 10. Like they're not that expensive.
No, it's great.
PDF or something like that.
Same
Also-
with build-arounds. His are cheap.
Her videos sometimes guest star her corgis. So that's
Bonus.
See, bonus. Now
That's
you're
where we
addicted.
should have started.
Yeah, we should have started with that.
Know your
guys.
audience.
Yeah, check them out. And then, like what he was saying, just reach out to the community if you have any questions on anything, because everyone's always happy to help.
It is, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, it's nice. This community's nice. If we're still in it, it's because we're nice people. We've got friendships. We want to expand that community. But likewise, it's also almost nice for your just for you. Like, you seem like you'd know about this. Moi? Oh, let me tell you. But yeah, no. And the good note to the accessibility. Craft foam is where I started with armor building.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
again, I'm all about. I fail a lot, immensely, constantly, and so I like to do so cheaply, and craft foam let me do that. And so before I was experimenting with Warbla or anything else, I was like, craft foam, 90 cents.
Absolutely.
If this goes down the drain, I've only burned $1.
Yeah.
And again, not that you should, but if it happens, you got that flexibility. So
Right.
craft foam literally was my gateway drug to Warbla. Worked like a charm.
Now, another tech, one that's everyone has heard about, and if you have the time to learn 3D modeling, it'll behoove you in the future of cosplay.
Good word.
Because, yeah, I know, right? English major. Right? Go figure, I'm an English major and a cosplayer. That's what you do with that degree. 3D printers are becoming very, very, very cheap. We initially invested when they weren't, but going to be reinvesting in a cheaper one, and your time learning how to 3D model will be more than paid back to you in the time you save. For example, 3D modeled and 3D printed. Like all of the nuts and bolts on here were ones that we just 3D printed out, and it took no time. And if one breaks or pops off, we can always just print another one.
Also, I would like to note on the 3D printing side of things, I have 0 skills when it comes to a computer. Okay, I know how to.
I do it.
Yeah. Well, besides that, good golly, Miss Molly. But they also, a lot of people model prints, and you can get things online for rather cheap, all things considered.
Some of them free.
Some of them free. A lot of people are just like, hey, I figured out how to make this Borderlands weapon. Have this thing, and you're just like, you're my god right now. But a lot of people sell their 3D patterns and stuff, so if you can't model something, but you have a 3D printer and the passion to be like, hey, I want to have this thing, you can have this thing.
like this tiny watch that she's wearing was the first 3D model I ever did. It was super simple.
So
it
cute.
took no time.
I was so proud of him because I'm like, look, it's my watch, and you did that. But yeah, people do sell their prints, and sometimes you can even buy the models already assembled online and paint them, sand them, do as you please yourself. So don't let that limit what you do.
And one of the big things is lots of libraries are now getting 3D printers.
Are they?
I know.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So now
What a time to be alive.
You pay for the supplies to make it, or there's maker spaces.
Yeah,
popping up.
those
So
are amazing.
Check those out too, because again, for me, it was a fun step to take before deciding, do I want a personal 3D printer,
Right.
or can I just survive as is, or do I order off of Etsy, or
Yeah.
100 other things. But so yeah, do remember that how much of cosplay is free and affordable.
Also, tutorials are free.
YouTube.
A lot of people come up and they say, oh my God, I could never do what you do. Shut your mouth with that nonsense. Yes, you can. All you need is a simple Google search engine.
Google
And-
is a search engine.
Yes, it is the only search engine. Thank you.
Mine.
Are you done?
Seconded.
Thank you.
True, it is a search engine.
So all you need is really Google, and you say, okay, I want to make foam armor. How to make foam armor? All you have to do is type that in, and there are going to be so many tutorials, so many free pieces that you can follow along yourself and try your hand at it. If it doesn't work for you, obviously there are other ways around that, but it's out there, you guys, completely for free.
Someone knows how to do anything hard enough on the internet. For Steve Trevor, I made his watch out of a leather band, and I tracked down what was the same model watch from the movie, but I had no idea how to time it or wind it.
Right.
No idea. So I YouTubed it, and there's a guy who literally just talks about different model pocket watches and how to work on them. That's his whole thing. That's his whole jam. He lives out of Russia. That's all he does is talk about pocket watches. But he's there in the world. If you need them, they're there to be found.
I love that.
Right, I know.
So perfect.
My hero.
You guys talk about storing your costumes.
Oh, we do that.
So, I have wept many a time because I've stored something improperly. The best thing that I can tell you to do is to be gentle, and also consider your size. We like to put ours in tubs, only because that's the best way to keep everything together. A lot of people will, like with dresses and gloves or things of that nature, use a, hi Teresa.
Oh my God, you look awesome.
Oh my God, my heart. But a lot of people will use like dress bags, like prom bags or things
Garment
like
bags?
Yeah, garment. Thank you for the assist. I'm really having a struggle today, as we can all tell. And I found this handy dandy little tutorial. Actually, Ethan found it.
Thank
So
you.
he was gonna say, we're married. It's obvious. But we have our wigs, because I flip out about my wigs. Like, I will lose my mind. A hair is out of place and I'm like, oh, it's all ruined. I can't do anything right. Nothing's ever gonna go right. First of all, take a chill pill. I know it's really hard, but we gotta breathe through this. Second, there is a very nice way to store your wigs. So we found a tutorial online. Ethan found the tutorial online. Of using buckets, like big style gallon paint buckets for other.
They're Home Depot
There you go.
buckets that
Words.
you drill through. You put a dowel rod, and then you can stick the foam wig head on top of that and carry it around. You don't have to worry about it.
I know.
Right?
I
There
know.
it is.
I know.
My life just changed,
See,
everybody.
right?
For highly styled wigs or long wigs that get easily tangled, this was really easy, and that way nothing bumps in the car either.
So write that one down.
Yeah.
Because even if you're at the point where like, I don't even
That
use
was
wigs
so easy.
yet.
That was so easy. We used that
So easy.
to carry around, this highly styled Tina wig, Tracer wig, Merida. It keeps everything nice and contained.
And
so.
you can keep like your wig cap and like your maintenance stuff in there. I keep my conditioner for my Merida wig in my Merida box. Like, it's all there.
Well, we all know how I put on my costume.
You do you, girl.
But in terms of storage at home, I do use garment bags. I also have Amy, my sister, did this all for me because, again, she's amazing. I have like a garment rack thingy.
Yeah.
But anyhow, they're all stored there with a bag of whatever goes with that particular costume.
Smart.
If it's an armor build, then those do go in tubs. I keep those stored in tubs.
Absolutely.
With everything else that goes in there, because I absolutely lose pieces all the time and have to remake them. With wigs, I'm the worst. If it's like a back wig, like from art or whatever, that it's not gonna get styled because it's already done or as is or whatever, then that usually just goes back into a bag. If it's something that is styled like, what do I have at home? I have a Zero Suit Samus wig, and I have a Snow White wig, and a Just Rabbit wig. Those go in a wig box. Looks like a hat box, but it's for wigs.
Yeah.
But those, I commission my wigs because I'm too lazy.
Dang
that
right.
I am absolutely too
Dang
lazy.
right.
Okay, yeah, oh, me too.
So those I commission, and they always come in a box like that. Costume-wise, I believe that's it. Corsets, I usually store those separately from my costumes. I keep those rolled up and stored in a, you know, those little hangy shoe.
I was gonna say, is it the hangy shoe thing?
It is a hangy shoe thing. Yeah, they roll in.
The
and
scientific
you can fit like
term is
4
hangy shoe
per
things.
Shoe thing. It's great.
Yeah.
No, and for garment racks, I have 2 of them at this point. One is just trench coats and leather jackets, and the other is suit coats and the like. And all you do is go on Amazon, put a collapsing garment rack in your cart, don't buy it, and then wait for the emails to come in about when it goes on discount. And I've gotten mine half off every time.
That's how I shop, man.
That's how I shop, because that deal's coming, but we don't have time to check every item we're looking for.
It'll tell you.
Put it in your cart, and it lets you know, by the way, it's down to 27, pick it up.
Yeah.
You got any hints about airport security?
Oh,
We've
brilliant
never
question.
We've never taken our cosplay on a flight, so we will.
We're
yield
straight
the
up
floor
afraid,
here,
son.
Because if you've seen our props, like our buzz axe or
No
our
way.
cannon, they're not getting on any flight
Nope.
ever.
There are certain items I will not take. I've done before. There's very little you can. It's just literally out of your hands. You just trust. You fingers crossed. So I won't put any irreplaceable items on a plane. I will drive to a con, even if it's 8 hours away, if I want to bring something that's valuable
That's
to me.
what we do.
And but having said that, there are some ways. Lots of cases can be designed just for that type of storage, and the less you bring on the plane itself, the less strict it gets, as long as your package is tough enough to be checked and roughly handled. Because you can slap every fragile sticker in the world on it, it's still gonna.
And with the check things, a lot of people I do know make a little sheet
Yeah, I was
that
gonna
they
say
put
sheet.
on the outside of the case, like laminated, taped on there, saying, "Hey, TSA, here's exactly what's in here." So you know when you open it, these are fragile, please be careful with this, but here's the entirety of the contents of this box. That way, they are more likely to be kind.
Exactly.
Since I fly a lot, I always check my costumes in. I put all my armor in a hard case.
Yeah.
And then to avoid using just random padding, because you're only allowed 50 pounds per bag. I cushion all of it. Even though it's in a hard case, I still cushion it with like just clothes.
Clothes that you're
Yeah.
bringing anyway.
I just kind of fit it in there. If anything looks somewhat questionable, it's a good idea to, like what they were saying, like do, like you have a little paper that says what everything that you're bringing, but if it's something mechanical, metal, might be a good idea to kind of put like a very simple description of it or something like that, so they know you're not carrying like some weird bomb or, you know what I mean?
That's why
If there's
ours are-
anything that you're worried them being suspicious of, put that toward the top of your stack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last thing you want is them
Yep.
looking for what set off the alarm.
Yep.
So always put that stuff that you're not quite sure about up to the top. Because they'll still probably go through it, but at least if they found, oh, this is it, plop it back.
And just realize if you're flying with it, there is absolutely a high risk of something breaking or something getting damaged. It's going to happen. So it's going to happen at some point or another. So just be prepared for that, with that knowledge that this may not arrive the way that I put this in my suitcase. And as long as you can live with that, then do the thing. I mean, I do that with all my costumes, and it's not happy making when there's a piece that's like, you know, damaged or whatever, but it is what it is. You take the chance, and you can take every precaution necessary to make sure that that doesn't happen, but, you know, human error.
We're actually specifically starting to build up a bigger collection of cosplays that don't have huge props solely for the purpose of traveling via plane, because again, if we want to bring Krieg with his buzz axe or Zarya with the particle cannon, we are driving.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. They can't. Like, maybe our small buzz axe that's entirely 3D printed and just plastic, that one could go, but our huge 33-pound one isn't going anywhere.
There's parts of your life in that.
Yeah.
This is part of me.
I'm not putting that on a plane anyway, because they're going to disassemble that entire
There's
thing.
no way. But.
Can the ladies talk about bags? I mean, you guys can talk about it too. Like purses and stuff, because, you know, not all purses go with certain cosplays. So what do you carry? What do you leave behind?
Pockets. Pockets are amazing.
And
I absolutely love pockets. Yeah, backpacks. My sister usually just wears backpacks, and I like pockets. Or have a handler that has pockets.
Oh my gosh, your dress had pockets.
Yeah, I carry a lot of things with me to a show, but if I'm going to walk around, I usually only have my phone, and if I'm taking photos, I hide my phone behind me. Same with badges and things like that. Everything else, my sister's there and carrying everything else for me.
And pack light. Just be prepared to pack light at a convention.
But yeah, I mean, if you're going to incorporate like a bag or anything like that into a costume, you can absolutely do that. You know, like let's Super Mario. You could have a bag that looks like a question mark box. You know,
They make Bowser shell.
Or the
bags.
fire flower.
Yeah. My Bowser backpack. It is a backpack. The back of it, you can put stuff in it. But I don't, because it doesn't make sense. It's too much work to remove it. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of things you can do with it. But yeah, if you can work pockets into a costume, that's what I always suggest.
I don't ever have anything ever, because I unfortunately don't have any costumes with pockets. But I do have bags. And I'm wearing a fanny pack. Functional, bringing it back, y'all. And I love that. I love that my character can have a backpack, or so like Ivy said, it's very easy to incorporate any other kind of bag. Like, for instance, Renaissance Fair. We did the Renaissance Fair. Anything can be a bag. If it's covered in leather, it's totally fine. Or I can even have a burlap sack. It's totally great.
We had Sakura carrying around a gym bag. Because that's what she would carry.
That's what she would do anyway.
And if you have to bring stuff and you can't think of a way to carry a bag accurately, then you can't think of a way to carry a bag accurately, and your bag is a little inaccurate. If there's stuff you need to have it. And the accuracy of your cosplay isn't necessarily worth not having your essentials. But there are definitely ways to always, I feel like, for almost any character, make it look slightly appropriate.
And that's the other thing for me, because I have a case I have to bring, especially when I'm doing panel days.
Yeah.
I have to have a case. It's the same black case. Some characters it works with, some it doesn't. And I just make sure you put it down when it's time for a picture.
Yep.
And the pictures that come away from cons are 85% of most people's memories.
Yeah.
No one will say, oh, he was carrying that black satchel on his way to the panel.
Not
what a
even
terrible Steve
dedicated.
Trevor.
I know, awful.
It wasn't even brown. That doesn't happen as much as it should. So you do have that flexibility. But yeah, I will also repeat what Ivy said. Pockets can be put in lots of places. Again, I worked at a magic shop for a little bit, and so I got to see a lot of like the pocket coats and stuff. And so I was like, wow, I didn't even know that would be a pocket place. So you can pocket creatively.
While I say that, my costume for tomorrow definitely has room for pockets, but I never put them in.
And hers tomorrow, Harley Quinn, no pockets, but that's what Bane is for. He just has 80 pockets in my jacket and like 12 in my pants.
Yeah.
I'm the
If
mule.
I'm all
It's
styles,
okay.
find a buddy.
Find a buddy.
Carry your things for you.
Yeah.
Or a handler.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
What if you have no friends and nobody wants to handle you? Right.
Ooh.
Because nobody can handle you.
Damn right,
I
girl.
like that.
No, that's
Strut
exactly
that.
it.
Strut that.
And then you have
Adopt.
I can think of bags that would work well for Tracer, and I don't imagine at this
You can
point
carry
in
a
time
loot
it would be
box.
hard to find an Overwatch bag.
Literally makes me want to die.
so ugly, but like I just went with the leather factor.
It's practical.
Leather just like my.
They're practical.
Worst comes to worst, sew a Overwatch logo on there. Boom,
Yeah.
done.
Done, skis.
Then it's totally.
What about
fitting.
her patch?
You know what happens? Some people do. Like you have your bracers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Created like an area where you can put your phone in there.
You totally can.
Totally
Pocket
good.
creatively.
Pocket
There you
creatively.
go. Trademark.
Need that on a shirt.
So yeah, like there's ways around it. Sometimes I just carry a bag. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
You just
like,
carry
yeah.
it.
Sometimes you just do. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's fine. It's fine.
No one is going to-
Down when you take a photo or whatever.
No one's gonna judge you for having a bag.
Yeah, you can just do it. Yeah, I mean, you do what you gotta do. You know, you will find photos of me with like giant ass bags. Sorry, giant bags.
Oh, can we not say swear words?
You know, like just walking
which one's
around.
the worst?
in
All just
costume,
seems to be.
all that. It happens. It's fine. You know. At the end of the day, it's about you having fun. You know, you had fun. You enjoy being in the costume. You enjoy being at the con. Then it's just a bag.
And just real quick, they touched on it. I'm all about thinking about character motivations. What would Tracer do if she needed a bag? This is a punk rock chick.
Yeah.
You can get a punk rock patch to Overwatch. Some of the skins, you know, I mean, some of the sprays they're doing in patch form now.
I will literally go and see it. Like every freaking patch that they have is patch the entire.
Dude,
There you
do
go.
it.
And then all of a sudden
Do
becomes
it.
an accessory you're not hiding, but
Yeah.
embracing.
And then
Right,
you wear it
cheers
all the
love
time.
on there, you'll
Yeah.
be good.
As somebody who's never cosplayed, but because of following YouTube, has got me intrigued into it.
I'm sorry.
How do you find the balance of being a first-time cosplayer, doing a character you love, and knowing it's going to be overwhelming? So for me, like, I'm a big Lucio fan. But he seems at times that might be a little too much to initially, but...
Do a casual one.
Yeah.
So, like, I want to do a casual, like, I know what you're talking about with Lucio. Let's bond over Lucio here. Because I love him so much. And he's an amazing character, but I don't think I can pull off that leg armor. And I'm definitely not going to be on any rollerblades. So,
Coward.
okay. But they make light up shoes that are green on the bottom. That's close enough, right? Get some blue cargo pants. Get a
Do casual.
printed, just do something casual. Be really low key about it.
And then you
helps
can build onto it.
Right, that helps you put your foot out, like in the door, so to speak, and you get your feet wet.
I'd also suggest, like, be open to interpreting that character how you choose to.
Yeah.
By
Yeah.
your level of comfort. Like, I'm all for people being, like, if you want to be accurate to the source material and everything, like, go for it. If you want to go ahead and make it into something completely different and it just speak to you, and you focus on those things that personify that character for you, do that too. There's nothing wrong. There's no wrong way of doing it.
That's why fan art exists too.
Yeah. So there's certain aspects of that character that you like and you really want to focus on. Focus on those elements where people can look at it and be like, oh yeah, that's who that character is. You know, but it doesn't mean that you have to do every single thing down to the T.
Yeah.
And it's not as stressful.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this. It's cosplay, it's costume play, it's meant for fun.
Right.
You know, once you start taking yourself overly seriously, or overly serious, sorry, and that becomes your main focus, and you can't cosplay the character because you don't look exactly like the character, you're not wearing exactly what the character is, and you just are so hell-bent on all of these things. Then why are you doing it to begin with? You've lost the fun in it at that point.
And I feel the people who would nitpick, like, oh, you don't have blank, are going to nitpick whatever.
No
it
matter
could be a Blizzard-sponsored $2 million costume. They're like, wow. So that's not who I dress up for.
Right.
The other thing I also found comforted me a lot is I got to the point where I'm not done with any costume necessarily.
Dang right.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Everything is always a flux. I'm not releasing a movie that has a release date and I have to sit in the theaters going, oh, I really wish I could have changed that. That's not my life. This costume is not done. No costume I own is done. It's always improving, always finding something cool, something new. And again, like from this panel, I've got 4 things. I'm gonna go home and change 4 costumes. But I'm like, yeah, great. So remember that with what you're approaching. You can make a Lucio, you don't have to be done. Still working.
Well, and so I've talked about the fitness thing a lot. That's honestly one of the things that I love about incorporating fitness is because I really do feel like no cosplay is ever finished.
Yes.
Even when I've finished making all the parts for Vega, I can't just, so to speak, put it in the closet for 6 months and never think about it and come back and have it be the same quality because
That's
I'm
a seasonal
constantly having to
cosplay.
Dang right, I don't wear that one during winter. But it's kind of like writers talk about their work as never really finished. Like again, I was an English major, and the number of versions of Leaves of Grass that Walt Whitman put out is insane, with sometimes just the difference being one period in one poem. And if you just keep building and keep making it what you love, a little bit at a time, starting off low-key, like when I was working towards Krieg, when I only had the pants and the buzz axe finished, I went out as a psycho. Because I didn't need this, I didn't need this, I didn't need half of what I needed, and it let me test out the character, still enjoy it, while not being 100% done. But like you said, I don't think anyone's ever really 100% done. You're always going to find one thing you're like, you know, I want to fix that, or I want to redo that, or do this better, or whatever it may be.
I mean, we're always growing. You know?
Yeah.
Things are always changing. We're always learning new techniques. What you know now is going to be different from what you know 3, 6, 9, and 12 months down the road. You know, I'm pretty sure if any one of us make the same costume that we made 3, 4, 5 years ago now, it's going to look significantly different now than what it did back then. And that's a good thing. That means that you've grown and that you've changed and you've learned a lot, you know. And I think that's really awesome. And like, you know, they've all been saying, you know, just it speaks to having that open-mindedness and willingness to grow from those things, you know, and just being comfortable. But that being said also, if you put on a costume and you're not feeling it, like you're not happy with it, you're just, it's just not working, it's okay to not wear a costume at the con that day. Or if you just want to wear it for an hour or two, that is okay too. Yeah. There's nothing that says that, you know, hey, you know, I worked on this for X amount of hours, I absolutely hate it, but I'm going to wear it anyway. No, because then you're miserable at a show also. So I've hugged costumes before that I've worked on, and I just absolutely hate them. And I'm like, nope, I'm not doing this. I'm gonna put on my awesome X-Men t-shirt and my pants, and I'm gonna call it a day, and I'm gonna go have fun and celebrate my friends and hang out with everybody else and take photos with the cosplayers and do all the other things of why I love this community. Yeah. You know, so just don't be serious. Just don't be serious about it. It's a hobby, it's a craft, it's fun, you know, and at the end of the day, make it fun. Have fun with it.
So
be flexible.
We've now in like numerous different topics and questions had a very common thread, and I just want to highlight it one more time. This is for you to have fun. For you to have fun. Not for you to make other people like your picture on Facebook or Instagram. That recognition can be very rewarding, and so can recognition at a convention. But if you are doing it solely for others, and you have forgotten why you are doing it for yourself,
you're going to be disappointed.
Take a step back, take a break, and come back to it when you have the passion again. Because again, this is a hobby. Even the people who do this and make money off of it, they're amazing. It's still for fun, and you should still have fun doing it. Especially if you are just someone who likes to cosplay. Again, always remember what makes it fun for you, why you started. And if you lose those things, reevaluate what you're doing. Because fun should always be your #1 priority. Your fun should always be your #1 priority. Now, that has the caveat of as long as you're not, you know, harshing on
exactly. Which should be an unspoken assumption, but we will say that.
You have to say it. Yeah.
But you see some people who really push the limits on acceptability in terms of offensive cosplays.
No, and
as long as you're not those people, have fun.
Right. Your cosplay shouldn't negatively impact someone's day. That's the thing. Wearing a cosplay isn't an excuse to
be a jerk.
Be a jerk.
Yeah.
There's no character that you should be dressed as. We're like, well, the character would do that. Too bad. Too bad.
What about him?
But you do it classy like.
And I apologize for it.
And you're there. You're there, an in-character handler.
Yes, she is.
Really great.
I'd say just remember the type of con that you go to.
Yeah.
If you're at a convention that is adult-oriented, like Dragon Con, there's a lot more liberties that you can take in a lot of different things. If you're at a convention like this, Wizard World, and most other conventions that are family-friendly and child-friendly, also keep that in mind with what you say and what you do, how you dress and all those things, because at the end of the day, there's families that are coming to shows, you know? So, you know, for myself at least, I will censor myself in certain things versus, you know, if you're at Dragon Con, you can get away with a lot more.
Oh yeah.
So just things to keep in mind for yourself and for just the general experience for everybody. but I think we're out of time.
I think we're out of time.
Oh yeah, it is only 45 minutes. That's right. It's
That's
not an
right,
hour.
yeah. So, no.
However, all of us kind of have one big shared booth. We're over at 1011, so 1011. SKS is there too, so is Momokurumi.
We're right next to the, where you can purchase your photo off.
There you go.
Yes, that's a good way to guide it.
Point of reference.
And look us all up on Facebook, so that way we can continue answering questions. I'll speak for me for sure.
Yes,
We're right
absolutely.
there. Look us up. We like to answer questions. We like to make connections at conventions. That's why I do it, is to make new friends.
Yeah.
And this is like, I have friends for almost 4 years now. They're like, yeah, I was at that panel, and we've been talking on the internet since, and now they might be a groomsman. Who knows?
We love that.
Yeah, so.
Ours was.
And then also, I do see a lot of guys in this panel, so I just want to let you guys know, and ladies, not leaving you guys out. There is a men of cosplay panel that I'm doing with all of the male cosplayers that are guests at the show tomorrow, that I would love for you guys to check out if you guys are curious about the male perspective of cosplay, as well as things that are their pitfalls and troubles and tribulations and how they get them past them. By all means, come and check it out. And then if anyone's considering cosplay and is kind of on the fence, not too sure, I have a panel on Sunday called Cause Positive, Cosplay with Confidence, that covers a lot of those different aspects of just really embracing everyone in the community, regardless of your body type, size, shape, age, sex, skin color, disability, all of the things. So we'd love to see you guys.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being here.
guys.
You were a wonderful audience.